The most striking feature about him was his enormous head. Its circumference was about that of a man's waist. From the brow projected a huge bony mass like a loaf, while from the back of the head hung a bag of spongy, fungus-looking skin, the surface of which was comparable to brown cauliflower. The nose was merely a lump of flesh, only recognizable as a nose from its position. These deformities rendered the face utterly incapable of the expression of any emotion whatsoever. The back was horrible because from it hung as far down as the middle of the thigh huge sack-like masses of flesh covered with the same loathsome cauliflower stain. The right arm was of enormous size and shapeless. It suggested but was not elephantiasis, and was overgrown also with pendant masses of the same cauliflower-like skin. The right hand was large and clumsy, a fin or a paddle rather than a hand. No distinction existed between the palm and the back. The thumb was like a radish, the fingers like thick tuberous roots. As a limb, it was useless. The other arm was remarkable by contrast. It was not only normal, but was moreover a delicately shaped limb covered with a fine skin and provided with a beautiful hand which any woman might have envied. And then to add a further burden to his troubles, the wretched man, when a boy, developed hip disease which left him permanently lame, so that he was only able to walk about with a stick. Please. He was thus denied all means of escape from his tormentors.
Mr. Trees, you have shown a profound and unknown disorder to us. You have said that when he leaves here, it is for his exhibition again. I do not think it ought to be permitted. It is a disgrace. It is a pity and a disgrace. It is an indecency, in fact. It may be a danger in ways we do not know. Something ought to be done about it.
Well, I am a doctor. What would you have me do?
Well, I know what to do. I know.
My pinhead darlings. Every freak in Brussels fair is doing something to celebrate Leopold's 5th year as King of the Congo. Him, our king, our empire.
We are the queens of the Congo.
Don't recite yet, you morons! I'll say when, and when you do, get it right. If you don't, it's back to the asylum with you. You know what they'll do there, don't you? They'll cut your little heads and spoon out your little brains and put them back in the toxins they were nicked from. Cut you! Yeah! Be back with customers. Come see the queens of the Congo.
Cosmos! Cosmos! Congo, land of darkness. Oh! Look at them, lad. Ah, it's freer here on the continent. Loads of indecency, no one minds. You won't get copper sent round to roust you out like in London. Reckon in Brussels, here's our fortune. Well, you have a little tete-a-tete with this lot while I go see the coppers about our license to exhibit. Be right back.
What is going on here? Look at that mob. Have you no sense of decency? I am Frederick Trees. This is my card.
Poor Wrench here had it. Right, from Ostend.
Oh, good Lord. Merrick, John Merrick, what has happened to you?
Help me!
Frederick, I feel Mr. Merrick would benefit by even more company than you provide. In fact, by being acquainted with the best and they with him. I shall make it my task, if you'll permit. As you know, I'm a friend of nearly everyone, and I do pretty well as I please. And what pleases me is this task, I think.
My God, Mrs. Kendall, you are splendid.
Mr. Merrick, I must go now. I should like to return if I may, and so that we may, without delay, teach you about society, I should like to bring my good friend, Dorothy, Lady Neville. She would be most pleased if she could meet you. Let me tell her yes? Then until next time, I'm sure your church model will surprise us all, Mr. Merrick. It has been a very great pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Psst, John, your hand. She wishes to shake your hand.
Thank you for coming.
But it was my pleasure. Thank you.
What a wonderful success. Do you know that he's never shook a woman's hand before? How odd. I find him curious, compassionate, concerned about the world. Well, rather like myself. Freddie Treves, 1889 A.D.
Of course, he is rather odd and hurt and helpless not to show the struggling. And so am I.
He knows I use him to raise money for the London, I'm certain. He understands I would be derelict if I didn't. He is wary of any promise, yet he fits in well, like me.
I, as a seminarist, had many of the same doubts, struggled as he does, and hope they may be overcome.
When my husband, His Royal Highness Edward, the Prince of Wales, asked Dr. Treves to be his personal surgeon, he said, "Dear Freddie, if you can put up with the elephant bloke, you can surely put up with me."
Merrick visibly worse than 86, 87. But as he rises higher in the consolations of society, he gets visually more grotesque, is proof definitive he is like me. Like his condition, which I make no sense of. I make no sense of mine.
What a rain. Are we going to read this afternoon?
Yes. Some women are lucky to look well. That is all. It is a rather arbitrary gift. It has no really good use. Although it has uses, I will say that. Anyway, it does not signify very much.
To me it does.
Well, you are mistaken.
What are we going to read?
Trust is very important, you know? I trust you.
Well, thank you very much. I have a book here of Thomas Harding's. He is a friend of Frederick's. Shall we read that?
Turn around a moment. Don't look.
Is this a game?
I would not call it a game. A surprise.
What kind of a surprise?
I saw photographs of you before I met you. You didn't know that, did you?
The ones from the first time, in '84. No, I didn't.
I felt it was unjust. I don't know why. I cannot say my sense of justice is my most highly developed characteristic. You may turn around again. Well, a little funny, isn't it?
It is the most beautiful sight I have seen, ever.
If you tell anyone, I shall not see you again. We shall not walk, we shall not read, we shall do nothing. Wait. There. No illusions. Well, what is there to say? I am extremely pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh, my God. What is going on here? What is going on?
For a moment, paradise, Freddie.
But have you no sense of decency? Woman, dress yourself quickly. Are you not ashamed? Do you know what you are? Don't you know what is forbidden? Then what, sir, could be troubling me? I am an extremely successful Englishman in a successful and respected England, which informs me daily by the way it lives and it wants to die. I am in despair, in fact. Science, observation, practice, deduction, having led me to these conclusions, can no longer serve as consolation. I apparently see things others don't.
I do wish I understand you better. But as for consolation, there is in Christ Church consolation.
I am sure we were not born for mere consolation.
Look at Mr. Merrick's happy example.
Oh, yes. You'd like my garden, too. My dog, my wife, my daughter, pruned, cropped, pollarded, and somewhat stupefied. Very happy examples, all of them. Well, is it all we know how to finally do with whatever? Nature. Is it? Rob it? No, not really. Not nature, I mean. Ourselves, really. Myself, really. Rob, that is. You do see, of course. I can't figure out, really, well, what else to do with them, can we?
Not exactly clear.
I am an awfully good gardener. Is that clear? I take such good care of anything. Anything we are convinced. Are you not convinced? Him, I mean, is not very dangerously human. I mean, how could he be after what we've given him? What you like, sir, is that he is so grateful for patrons, so greedy to be patronized, and no demands, no rights, no hopes. Past perverted, present false, future nil. What better could you ask? He puts up with all of it. Well, of course, I do mean taken when I say given, as in what we've given him. But you know that, I'll bet. Because
Do you mean charity? I cannot make out what you're saying.
Help me, help me.